All right, we are live. Guys, welcome to the channel. We typically do a Wednesday live market update on the Denver Real Estate Metro every single Wednesday, but this one's different. This live is an Ask Me Anything. Should you buy or sell now or wait? That's kind of the main topic here today, but we've got a list of questions. We're going to get into everything from should you sell your house versus rent it to, oh gosh. Everything from sorry guys, I had the live stream on a different tab and then I started hearing myself, but we're going to go through everything from should I rent or sell my home? Is now the right time to do either of those? How could we maximize affordability in today's market and get rates like a 2.75% rate? Guys, I'm telling you, it's not too good to be true. That actually exists in today's market. Where the best buying opportunities are. We've got some really good content for tonight. So if you are at all thinking about moving, whether that's selling your home or buying a new one or doing both, you're going to want to stay to the end because we're going to give you insights that, quite frankly, you just can't always get anywhere else. Like you can spend all day long on Google. Please do. But guys, this is like real insight from a real estate agent to get answers to all those questions you have in your head, but you haven't you don't feel comfortable or ready enough to reach out to somebody like myself that has expertise in guiding clients through these decision-making processes and giving you insight into the market that will really help you guys become clear of when you should make your next move. So with that, if you are joining and you have questions, those take priority. We're going to throw this at the top of the list. Please understand, no question is a bad question. I'm telling you, most of the time when you think it's a bad question, it's actually the best question that everyone's thinking about, but they're too afraid to say. So please let it go in the comments. I'm going to be watching for your questions until I get those. Again, we've got a list of questions we're going to go through tonight. If you'd rather just kind of sit back, hang out, and get some perspective, hear the answers to other questions, and just be a part of this, by all means, you don't have to engage. But if you are here, I would love to know where you're joining from. I would love to answer your questions. And with that, guys, thank you for joining. Let's dive into some really good stuff. I'm going to start with when you maybe shouldn't buy and when you should buy. Like, what are the different thought processes there that would give you a green light to go forward or maybe a red light to maybe halt, stop, and reconsider some things? So that's what we're going to start with. And then we'll go right into when should. I use should in quotations because the reality is it's such a personal question. When should you? Whenever you think the time is right. Now I'm gonna add in some perspectives and some market insights, etc., to kind of help you figure out your own should. But myself or another lender or realtor, we don't know when you should, only from the perspective of which we have in the market and your goals and priorities. So with this, it's going to be a little bit general, but really good insight. So again, if you have questions specific to you, throw them in the comments. Otherwise, let's get in. For buyers, first off, really good buying market right now. Not necessarily because of affordability. The rates kind of suck. I get that, guys. Believe me, I just bought a house last year in September. I'm feeling every bit of the rate. Okay. What I mean is just take the rate aside. Again, we're going to get in how you can get really good rates even in today's market, but just put that aside for now. The reason I'm saying it's a really good market to buy is because what we're seeing in the market is a shift between supply and demand. To simplify this, supply and demand drives what's happening in the market. If there's a ton of supply and not enough buyers, then the supply needs to decrease the price to attract these buyers, and vice versa. If there are a ton of buyers and not a lot of supply, well, these homes can up their price because they only have a limited amount, but they have so many buyers for those houses, okay? So think of this. We had roughly 6 to 10 buyers per one property back in COVID in 2021 when rates were 2.75. So one property had 6 to 10 plus buyers that wanted that single house. Okay. We're going into a market where there's like 6 to 10 houses per one buyer. And so you could see the supply and demand ratio shifting into the buyer's favor to where, guys, there's a lot of great opportunities out there to negotiate and leverage the market to your benefit and get you the best deal possible. Not just in price, guys, but also having the seller pay your closing costs so you can take those and come to the table with less cash down, or take that money and buy your interest rate down. And then we get into inspections. Like, guys, buyers, unfortunately, sellers have a lot of the leverage in today's market. And so when it comes to inspection, you could be picky. You could be more aggressive in your approach when negotiating, and a lot of times get it. Now, there will be those markets where this doesn't fly and there's multiple offers. In fact, I have a client right now in that market. It's a specific area in Littleton that is in a specific price where it's a really hot market. So you run into those, but that is more of a rarity in today's market. Most of the time, depending on where you're at, price point, etc., you're going to be in a really good spot as a buyer. But why shouldn't you buy? If you're a buyer in today's market and you're thinking about making a purchase, here's why you shouldn't buy. Okay. A couple of reasons. Now, guys, this is not black and white. If you fall under this umbrella, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying here's some perspectives to consider. Ultimately, you might fall in the category of everything I'm about to say. But if you had reached out and we have a conversation, there might be a couple factors that, even if you fall into this category, may still make sense for you to buy. Okay. So keep this in mind. It's general. But why shouldn't you buy? I'm going to use myself. I'm going to say, hey, if I were in your shoes, I wouldn't buy if I couldn't find the right house and my payment was at the top of my budget. Like if I went out and I found like houses that were like kind of it, but it's like a house that, gosh, I'd probably want to move in 2 to 3 years anyway, and it's at the top of my budget, I probably wouldn't do that, right? Now, if I found an amazing house that checked all the boxes and I'm going to stay there for the next 10 years, even if it's a little higher in the budget, cool. I always say my rule of thumb is always, if you can find the right house at a payment that's doable. Notice that I don't say like comfortable or like amazing. Like in an ideal world, yes, go find a payment that's amazing. But in today's market, affordability is not the greatest. But if you can find a great house at a doable monthly payment and you plan to live there for the next 5 to 10 years, that's a thumbs up. Go for it. Let's go. But for those of you who are only going to stay in the house 2 to 3 years, like it's a house that you're like, yeah, I like it, but like, I'm going to call you in a year. I'm going to call you in 2 years. I'd probably say, let's maybe pause for a little bit because the market is in a place where we could very well see the first negative price curve that we have in a long time. And I'm talking specifically in 2025. Okay. Now, if we're in a market that is declining in price, then what do you think is going to happen next year, right? What's going to happen after that? Like from my perspective, it's probably going to get a little bit worse before it gets better. Okay. Here's what I do know. Here's the truth based on history. The market's always doing a couple of things. It's always either going up or it's either going down. And sometimes it's kind of a flat line. I personally see the writing on the wall with supply and demand ratios where we could be in a kind of flat line to maybe a slight negative curve for I don't know. Who knows? Definitely this year, probably next year. I hope not. For all my sellers and homeowners, I hope the market goes up. Whether it's up by $1,000 or $10,000, like I don't want you to lose money. I say lose money because you only really lose money if you sell. But getting to the point here is that if you are looking to move in 1 to 2 years, it's likely you're not going to be able to sell that house without coming to the table with your own money. Meaning you'd sell that house at a loss if not a loss. Say the market appreciates 10K in 2 years and you want to sell. After you minus all the fees that it's going to take to hire realtors, to go through this process of selling a home. Like, guys, you don't sell a home for free. Like, there's fees to it. You're probably going to lose money, right? So that's why I'm like, no. If you guys are going to stay in there 2-3 years, probably pause. Now, here's maybe a caveat to that. If you're going to keep that long term as a rental, and you guys have a lot of money up front to put down on it, so when you go to rent it in 2 years and it's going to cash flow, okay, right? See what I'm saying? Like, there's factors to which this would make sense for you guys. But a general rule of thumb is that, okay, is if you can't find the right house at the right monthly payment and you'd sell it in a year to 2 to 3 anyway, probably pause. Now, when should you buy a house? I've already touched on this, but again, we're going to just wrap this up and then go into sell side. If you are a buyer looking to purchase in today's market and you could find the right house at a doable monthly payment and you're going to be there for 5 to 10 years, I'd say those signs are typically a green light. Okay. A green light. Now, sellers, you're going to fall in somewhat of a similar space. Okay. Meaning you have to sell a home. Most of you are going to then buy a home, right? And so all the buy side stuff still applies to you if you're buying a home. If you're selling a home and you're able to find a house that you love, doable monthly payment, you're going to stay there for long term. Awesome. Great. Then you probably should sell, right? And move forward with it. Now, for those of you, and guys, if you're just joining, first off, thank you for jumping on the channel. Throw questions down below. I'm here to answer your questions. I've got a list, but if you guys have questions specifically, throw them down in the chat. Please believe me. Everyone wants to know the answers to them. They're all you guys are all thinking about the same things. I was in the same boat. So throw them in the comments. I'd love to get you answers to your questions. Now, if you are selling and not buying, here's what I would do. I would either hurry up and get the house on the market. Like, I'm talking pedal to the floor, get the house on the market. You've got a short window. Your window is between now and about September. Okay. It's worse than selling like Q1, Q2, but it's way better than selling in end of Q3, Q4. So you've got a short window where the market's still okay. Okay. Seasonal trend wise, it's still okay. Not great. Guys, I'll be quite frank. The market for sellers, depending on your neighborhood, your price point, where you're at, kind of sucks. We'll get into a little bit more of that, especially if you guys have some questions. But it's a buyer's market. Like, hey, some people might not say that. It's a freaking buyer's market. All right, let's just be real. It is time for the buyers. Heidi, I wanted to support you. You're the best. Thank you, Heidi. I super appreciate you jumping on. This will probably be some good information for you. If you have any questions, throw them down below. But if you are selling a house and you're not buying something, you've got until about now to September. If you're listing in September, hurry. But if it's like October, November, December, please do yourself a favor. Just wait until January. Like, I'm telling you, the shift in market between October, November, December to like the first week of January, the second week of January is significant. And guys, I'm telling you, like, it is a significant jump in buyer activity as soon as January hits, and it goes up in February, in March, in April, and then it starts to teeter a little bit in May. And then you kind of go on this roller coaster, right? So you go January's here, and you go up, up, up. And then May, you kind of start getting to the top, June, and then July, all the way into December. Okay. That's selling perspective on historical trends of when is going to be the best possible time for you guys to sell. Okay. Now, again, maybe you have so much equity that you can sell in October, still find the house you love at a payment that's doable. Cool. Awesome. Have at it. Right? Like, by all means, get that sucker sold and let's get you into your new home. But again, I'm talking generally speaking here. Okay. So that's if I were in your shoes, sell if, right? You can find the perfect home at a monthly payment and you could sell and have enough equity to do whatever you need to purchase the new home. Awesome. I'd say you're a go. Try to get it done before September. Okay. If you are a seller and you can't do that, let's say you're just not able to get enough equity, or you could get equity, but what you're seeing in the market, like it just doesn't quite fit your metrics and you're not so sure, then I'd probably hold off. Okay. Guys, any questions you have on should you buy now or wait, or should you sell now or wait? Let me know. Otherwise, I've got my questions teed up. We're going to jump into them. There's going to be some really good ones here. Okay. So with that, let me make sure I'm looking at my notes and seeing if there's anything I missed. Don't sell. Yep. Awesome, guys. I think we covered it. Let's get into some questions. Guys, again, these are some good questions. So I'm going to start kind of top to bottom here, but please, I don't know if you ever heard anyone say this, but please interrupt me. Okay. If you guys have questions, throw them in the comments. If you are joining, share with me where you're joining from. And again, thank you for jumping on the channel. We always appreciate it. So, all right. First question. Is it worth giving up a 2.75% mortgage rate just to get in a better home? Golly, what a powerful question, right? That I probably don't have your answer to. This is such a personal question. You own a home, you've got a 2.75% rate. Your payment is probably absolutely amazing. And you're wondering, should you get rid of that just to buy a better home? Well, here's my perspective. I did this, right? I had a quite literally 2.75% rate. And for 2 years, we were like, man, the backyard, guys, we have kids. Like we spend so much time in the backyard. We loved our house, but it was the backyard. And so every time summer came around, I was like, man, we really want to get into something new. But we had a 2.75% rate. Like, guys, this payment, absolutely incredible. And to be facing a 6.5% rate in the face, it's like, this backyard looks much better, right? And so it took us 2 years to finally say, all right, let's do it. Guys, I am so glad we made the move. I absolutely love our new house. Do I love the payment? No, I sure don't. But we love the house. 100% for us. It made sense. It made a lot of sense. We like the memories we're creating here, the life we're giving our kids. There were those things that mattered more than an increased payment. So we pulled the trigger. And so with that, it's a very personal decision. Do you guys want to wait to live the way you want to live? I think that might be a better question. Or do you have the means to make the move now to live how you want to live? Meaning, like we had the backyard. It wasn't great, but man, we wanted to live where we could go on the backyard and throw the cornhole up and the kids still have a ton of grass in place to play around in. And so we did it. Okay. Now I'm going to give you a caveat to this. I'm going to give you something that you might think about when making this decision that can completely kind of open the gates for you. And this was a big reason we ended up moving. What are the average rates? What are the average rate commission? Here's how I'll answer this, Heidi. And great question. As far as the sell side, I don't know much about the average sell side rate because I'm not privy to it. Meaning, I'll answer this by giving you the second part to this answer. The average buy side, I feel like some agents misrepresent as a buyer agent that is free. Yes, and that's all in the languaging and setting expectations, Heidi. I can't stand when I hear agents saying they're free. Here's what I'll do. I'll give you an example of a conversation I might have with a buyer. Okay. Hey buyer, they ask me what my fee is. Look, my fee, right? And for the purposes of this video, I'm going to make up a silly number. My fee is 100% of the purchase price. Okay. My fee is generally built in the offer and paid by the seller. Okay. So when we go to offer on a home, we find $1 million home. We say, hey, seller, here's $1 million. And you're going to pay my agent 100% of that. But there are times when the seller will say no to paying that. They'll say no to the offer, or they'll adjust that rate, in which case you guys would be obligated to pay for it. And guys, I'm being mindful of my words here because this is different for everyone. And it all comes down to the legal agency agreement that you will sign with an agent. There's different boxes they can check. It definitely negotiating room there. I'll touch on that here in a sec. But I'll tell them, hey, in an ideal world, in 9 times out of 10, the seller's going to pay for it as a part of the offer. If they don't, you guys would be obligated, but you'd always have the option to either fire me. I literally tell my clients, fire me and move forward. But if it's the absolutely best house and you're like, I have to, like, I'm not going to purchase this house without you, but I am going to purchase this house, I'll pay your fee. Or we go find another one where a seller will pay my fee. That's how that conversation from my perspective generally should look, because the reality is it's not free. The seller's right. We're building it in the offer, right? So in a way, the seller's paying for it. In a way, you're paying for it just through the offer. And so with that, I think that's the best way to have a candid, true conversation about the fees and the way they work. Heidi, look, there's no rule. There's no law that says an agent should be paid something. What I generally see, and here's what I mean, I'm getting back to, I'm not privy to the seller side a lot, what listing agents are charging on average, but on the buy side, like I'm writing offers almost every week, right? Sometimes multiple, to where and not only am I writing offers and seeing what sellers are offering or agreeing to, but I'm also on the listing side and I'm seeing what my sellers are agreeing to. On average, Heidi, what I'm seeing sellers pay in today's market, and that's not just from my personal experience, but also hearing it from agents, et cetera. There's also studies that have been done on average commission rates for buyers agents. It's right around that 2.5 to 2.8. And most times, more times than not, 9.5 times out of 10. In fact, I think since the lawsuit, 10 times out of 10, sellers paying. Like very rarely will I run into a listing where the seller is not offering or accepting or agreeing to an offer that doesn't pay any commission, right? And then just to get back to your question, I'm 100% on board with agents earning a fair and equitable fee. I also concur that there may be negotiation room there. Yeah, look, there's every fee is negotiable. I'm very upfront with my clients about my fee and how it works, and I like to think I demonstrate enough value to where they understand what they're getting for with that. But the reality is, if you guys have a really, really good agent, the whole goal here, mine, I can't speak for other agents. I want to do such a good job that you never question the fee, right? And that's how every agent should be, right? And if they're not, then absolutely you should negotiate the fee, and they shouldn't be charging, what some of these agents charge. So good. Thank you for the questions. Amazing questions that you can't really find. Like you could find kind of answers to on Google, but not boots on the ground, real life experience of what's actually happening out there. So thank you for the questions. Just getting back real quick. The question was, is it worth giving up a 2.75% mortgage rate just to get into a better home? I think that's a personal question. It all depends on your personal circumstances. And I think it comes down to two perspectives. One, how long are you willing to wait to live the life you want to live? Right? And it's likely that new house is going to allow you to live in a different way, in a better way. And so that clearly, right? Like who would move if it's not going to allow them to live better or differently, right? Or the second would be, do you have the means, the financial means for that to make sense? I think that's how that question goes. Now, I told you guys my certain circumstance. I had a 2.75% rate, moved in September, bought a new house at 6.5. You know, it sucks. The rate sucks. I don't like it, but I love the house. Now, here's what we did. We rented our house out and we are cash flowing quite a bit to where if you do the math, okay? If you say, here's our mortgage, here's how much here's how much cash flow we're getting, okay? And here's our old mortgage, right? There's a delta in there to where we're cash flowing enough to where our rate is probably closer to like 4.5. So for those of you who have a really low rate, who bought a home somewhere in between like early to mid 2020 or before, you're probably a great candidate to rent your house out, to cash flow and offset the higher interest rate with the cash flow from your rental, which leads nicely into the next question. Should I rent out my current home and keep the low rate or sell it? I think that for us, that's where the answer came down to. Should I rent my current home and keep the lower rate or sell it? Well, for us, we were able to rent it at cash flow that made numbers on the next home make sense. Okay. Now, if you're wanting to rent your current home out and cash flow doesn't offset the new payment enough to where that new payment makes sense, then you probably might consider selling. Or if you need the equity in order to get the right house, right, the one that's going to allow you to live better, then it might make sense to sell it. But ultimately, that's kind of the equation you want to go through. If you could rent your house out and you're actually not cash flowing all that much, but you've got enough money for the new house and the payment is something you guys could easily do, then even if you're not cash flowing all that much, it might make sense to rent your house out. So there's calculations we do. I do rental analysis along with home analysis. I actually have a lending partner that is absolutely amazing. She'll go through and run the scenarios. Hey, if you rent the house out and cash flow and here's the new property and here's all these numbers, like it's so crystal clear in the both scenarios to help you guys make the decision on that. So any questions on that, guys, throw them into the comments. Next up, can I upgrade my home? Can I upgrade homes without my monthly payment skyrocketing? Okay, this is a good question. So can you upgrade or can you buy a new home without your payment skyrocketing? Let's go, guys. Get ready. Buckle your seatbelt. I've got some really fun stuff to show you here. Here's the reality. For a lot of people, believe it or not, yes, you can upgrade. Yes, you can buy the next home without your monthly payment skyrocketing. Now, that is true for mostly for people who have a lot of equity built in their current home. Okay. If you don't have a lot of current equity in your current home and you're wanting to upgrade, there's still hope for you. But for my people who've got 100, 260K or more, it's likely that when you roll that equity into the new home, your payment might be higher. Okay. But is it going to be a whole lot higher? Like maybe, but probably not. Or I guess maybe a more, not truthful, but maybe a more accurate statement is your payment might be higher, but likely not significantly higher to where it doesn't make sense. Okay. Believe me, guys, I have a lot of sellers selling in this market and upgrading or buying a new home, and they're able to do it at a reasonable monthly payment. And that, again, goes for a lot of you who have a good amount of equity, but for those who don't, or maybe you do, but the house you're wanting to buy is much higher in price in today's rates, it would be a higher monthly payment. There's two things that I want you to know and keep in mind, okay? Note these down for later in the back of your head. First off, new builds. New builds. If you guys have been a part of my world on my social medias, on my YouTube channel, you know I'm big on new builds, okay? New builds. Now, look, I didn't buy new builds, but for those of you, and the reason for that is we just didn't find the right house, and that's the downside of new builds, is there's not as much diversity or what's the word I'm looking for? With new builds, you're looking at, even if it's different communities, they're all kind of similar, right? Whereas existing homes, like I get different architecture, I get different lot sizes, I get 3 cars and 2 cars. Like you have so much more variety. There's the word. Boom, I knew it was going to come up. So you have so much more variety when looking at existing homes. But guys, new builds are offering incredible rates in today's market. I just got done touring a new build for a client today. Like I'm talking 2 hours ago, that was offering a 3.99% rate. Guys, a 3.99% rate. Let me just paint this picture for you, okay? I had my lender, one of my new build lenders for a builder that I do a lot of business with. I had them run numbers at a 3.99% rate versus market rates. Same house price. My client was saving $800 on the monthly payment. $800 because they were at a 399 with a new build as opposed to market rates where it's up here for the same price house. So if you guys are looking to upgrade your home and you want to keep your monthly payment within range of where you're currently at or something reasonable, look at new builds. Okay. If you don't know which new builds to look at, reach out to me. I'm actually going to throw you guys have my contact information sliding across the screen. It's kind of annoying. I don't know about you guys, but I see that. And as I see that, I'm like, God, that's annoying. Nonetheless, it's there for you guys. But new builds are great. Now, this is the moment you don't know it, but you've all been waiting for. All right. This is one of the best opportunities I know to be true in today's market. Okay. And it's called assumable loans. Let's have some fun here. I'm going to bring my good old friend Google on the screen. All right. You guys ready for some Google? Let's do this. We're going to share screen too and enter the stage. Yep. Screen share. Google. Here's what we're going to do. What is an assumable loan? An assumable loan is a type of loan, typically a mortgage, where a new buyer can take over the existing loan terms of the homeowner, right? From the seller instead of obtaining a new loan. This avoids the need for a buyer to qualify for a new mortgage and potentially benefit from a lower interest rate. Okay. I'm going to share my screen and actually show you guys homes that are available in today's market with an assumable loan. Okay. Bear with me. This is going to be really, really good stuff. So Google explained it really clear. You would essentially, I'm going to paint a picture like this. Say I'm selling my house and I have my 2.75% rate that got it back in 2021. I have an FHA loan or a VA loan, not a conventional. Generally speaking, it has to be FHA or VA. And I'm ready to sell you my home. You likely would have the eligibility, so long as you qualify for it, to assume my loan. Essentially, this is the loan. And I would say, here's my loan. The bank's going to put your name on it and take mine off. That way you can have my 2.75% rate. Here you go. That's how it's done, guys. Now, why isn't everyone doing this? Well, let's get into it. You guys ready to see some homes? I'm stoked to show you this. Really, I get excited. We're gonna chop this up and actually make a legit YouTube video off of this. Not that this isn't legit, but guys, if you're joining me, first off, thank you. Drop where you're joining from in the comments. If you guys have questions, drop them in the comments. I'm here to support you in all the questions that you have been asking yourself in Google, but want some professional expertise and guidance on maybe some of the things you've been grappling with. So throw them in the comments. Happy to answer. But I know most of you are probably like, okay, show me what you're talking about. How funny. Look at that, guys. Golly. I attracted a 2.75% house. So let's click in this, okay? 2.75% as opposed to 7%. And you're going to save roughly $1,000, more than $1,000 a month. Okay. That's up to $353,000 in total interest that you'd pay over the life of the loan. Bonkers, right? Bonkers. Okay. This house is worth $610,000. Okay. Colorado Springs, not really my market, but we're just going with it. I just want to get you guys an idea of these homes. Okay. This is a VA loan. Now, secret, I'm going to let you guys in on something. You don't have to be VA eligible to assume a VA loan. This happens all the time in the assumable market where you aren't a vet, but the vet says, hey, I got to sell and I'm willing to let you assume my VA eligibility and keep my loan at a 2.75% rate. This website says there's 26 years and 4 months left on the loan. Now, here is why not everyone is doing this. Okay. Let me try to sign in here. Let me try to sign into Rome so I can show you the exact numbers. If not, I got you. We got we got a different website that I can show you more in depth. So here, let's go here. Signing in. All right. And yes. All right. You guys ready for this? So back to the movie. All right. Seller's estimated equity. So they're selling at 610, but what they owe is $450,000. So you have to make up the difference between their listing price and what they owe in order to assume their loan, which is $160,000. Okay. That's why not everyone's doing it, is because not everyone has $160,000. But guys, I'm telling you, there's assumable programs or houses that don't require near as much as this down. And I'm going to prove it to you. We're going to find one of these. You guys ready? Come on, let's follow along. I'm going to show you one now. I didn't do this prior to us jumping on this live. Just want to be clear on that. I'm going to find one with you live on this video. Let's go. Let's go here. All right. So let's go. I'm going to just remove outline. Here's what we're going to do. Bear with me. We'll find one here shortly. Guys, any questions on this? Throw them down in the comments. Even if you're catching this after the live video, throw them in the comments, guys. I got you covered. All right. Check this out. Here we go. This one's worth $580. It's a 3.5% rate. You're saving $1,000 on the monthly payment. This is incredible. Granted, there's something wrong here because a $580,000 house at 3.56 is not $4,500 a month. There's other things to this software we'll get into, but just know this only requires $50,000 down because they owe $529. I think their calculations off here somehow, somewhere. I don't know why. Yeah, property taxes they're saying are $12,000 a month. I know this neighborhood, not a chance. These property taxes are not $986 a year, or I'm sorry, a month. That's why their payments off. But here you go, guys. You don't need $100,000. This is $50,000 down. Let's go to one more site, and then we're going to move on from this subject. But guys, this is how you get a house in today's market at 2.8% rate, at a 3% rate. Look at these, okay? Look at all this. Oh my gosh. I want to find a low. Here we go. So this is a new site. As you can see, this is more like it, right? 3,300 on the 625 at a 5.4% rate. Not a great rate, but it's 5.4 instead of 735, right? So this is one that only would require $60,000 down. Amazing opportunity to get a $620,000. Guys, if you were to get a $620,000 house at today's rates, you're paying $4,000 plus a month. This is $3,300 a month. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about with these assumable loans. Incredible opportunities. Let me find one that is like absolutely amazing in terms of the numbers. Okay. Let's find one, guys. We're gonna land on a gem here. All right. Absolute gem. Something you're probably going to call me after this video and say, hey, I wanted that home. Oh, snap. As I say it, holy shit. Sorry, guys. Excuse my French. Let's get into this. $625,000 house. All you need is $30,000 down. It's at a 4% rate. Guys, a $625,000 house in today's market at market rates, you're going to be over $4,300 a month. This is $3,000 a month. I'm sorry, but it doesn't get better than this. Absolutely stunning. This is a killer deal. Let's take a look at the pictures because I know y'all want to see some pictures. Guys, if you have any questions on this, throw them down in the comments. I got you. Come on. Are you serious? They got the vaulted ceilings. Stunning. Beautiful kitchen. You got plenty of room for a living room. Oh, here, let me zoom in. Hold on. I got you guys. One sec. Let's zoom in here. Oh, I can't zoom in? Darn. I guess you can see the pictures. Newer carpet. I can tell. Like, I do this. As you can see, I do this for a living. I can tell when new carpet is. But newer carpet, it looks like this has been painted. You got great lighting, can lighting up top, newer vanity. Guys, this house is in really good shape. Oh, let's go. A finished basement? Come on. Finished basement. Next, near a park, you back to open space, a decent size lot. You've got a deck here, which is nice. This is a really nice home, guys. So, guys, that's it for today's session on assumable loans. Unless you guys have other questions, we're going to keep it rocking and rolling. We got about 20 minutes here. Guys, time is flying. Any questions, throw them down into the comments. I want to know what you guys want to know. Okay. Next question. How do I buy and sell at the same time without losing my mind? I shouldn't answer this. I don't know. Without losing your mind. Guys, look, even with the greatest realtor in the world, I like to think I do a damn good job at helping my clients through the process in about as smooth as a way you can possibly move through it. And it's still stressful, but here's how to do it without losing your mind. Okay. If that's possible, is get a really, really, really good team, not just on the lending side, but on the broker side. Let me paint a picture. Let's say you go sell your house. You think your realtor is great. You list the house. You think that you're going to be able to qualify for the house of your dreams and that there's a ton of them out there. But you just kind of like took your realtor's word for it, or maybe your realtor didn't say anything. It has nothing to do with it. But you were like, yeah, realtor, I've ran the numbers. We've got a good job. We've got good income. We've got good equity. I know we're going to find something. I'm confident. We see all these houses. I haven't been pre-approved, but I'm not worried about it. Let's get this house listed. You guys list the house. All of a sudden you get a buyer, you're under contract, you're excited. You go to get pre-approved and the bank's like, hey, you make a ton of money, but the way you've done your taxes or this or that, like you don't actually qualify. You're going to lose your mind, right? So look, it's so important to have the right team to lead you through the process in the right way, so that you have as smooth a process as possible with the least amount of surprises. You've already got too much stress going on. All right. We don't need to add on to that. And so with the right team, that's how you're going to do this without losing your mind. Now, to give you some insight, okay? Maybe you don't have a great team, or maybe you do, but you just want to know for yourself. Here's the thing. First off, we got to see, how much is your house going to sell for? Why do we need to do that? Well, because we need to know how much equity you could put down on the new house. Okay. And the lender's going to need that. So now we do the home analysis. We get you pre-approved, knowing how much you have to put on the new house so the lender can run numbers properly. Once you get pre-approved, then you look at don't go sell your home yet. Now go look at the market real quick. You could do showings, but you don't have to. Ideally, at minimum, we just want you to look at Zillow or realtor searches and see what homes are out there that fit your budget, and make sure that these homes are going to be something that is worth selling your home and moving into. Does that make sense? Okay. So now we know how much your house roughly is going to sell for. So we know how much equity. You're pre-approved. You've looked at Zillow or your realtor search. Maybe you even looked at some new builds and got out there for showings one day. And we confidently can say, yeah, what we're looking for, what we really want in a new home is out there and it fits our budget. Now we move on to listing your house. And once we list your house and source a buyer, then we're going to go find the new one, put it under contract, and get you to move simultaneously. Boom. That's how it's done. All right, guys, any questions on that? Let me know. I hope that helps. Is now actually a smart time to move in Denver, or should we wait? We've already went through most of that at the top of the hour, guys. If you have questions on that or really want my answer, watch the replay or reach out to me. I got you. What's more important, getting a low interest rate or finding the right home for your family? Both. But here's what I'd say. I'm less concerned about the interest rate. In fact, from one perspective, like the interest rate doesn't actually matter. Let me prove that to you. Let's say interest rates were 10% in today's market. You know what? Screw it. Let's go 20%. Okay. 20% interest rate. And I don't care. Here's why. Here's why interest rates aren't actually the most important thing. 20% interest rate. We go find a home that's absolutely freaking stunning. This is like your dream. We we send it to the lender. I'm like, hey, lending partner, run numbers on this for, Sam and Mikey. They run numbers, they come back in the monthly payment. You look at it and say, yep, we could do that. In fact, that's actually a little under budget. Do you care that it's a 20% interest rate? No. What you care about is how much is the monthly payment, and can I get a house that I'm going to fall in love with that is going to allow me to stay there for 5 to 10 years, that's going to allow me to live better? So it's less important about finding a low interest rate, and it's more important about the monthly payment itself. And then, yes, you want to find a house that you love. Now, if you can't find the perfect house for the fam, something that's not going to allow you to live better, a house that you love, right, or can fall in love with, if you can't find that, but you kind of get close, but it's not like really what you're looking for, and it comes with a higher rate, like maybe don't do it. But if you but on the other hand, it's a balance game, guys. On the other hand, maybe you find that house that doesn't completely check the boxes, but maybe it's your second home, or maybe it's your first home. And even though the rate's not great, it's good enough. And you're like, you know what? If I'm making more money, if the market turns and appreciates, I'll probably sell in 3 years and move. But I could also see myself being here for 7 years. We could do some projects, etc. Guys, it's so subjective, these decisions. But there's my 2 cents. It's more about the monthly payment, and can you find the right house for that monthly payment? And then at that point, you don't really care what the rate is. Obviously, we want the best rate possible, but monthly payment is always more important than the rate. Can I buy a new home before selling my current one? Yep, you certainly can. You certainly can. Guys, any questions, drop them in the comments. I would love to answer anything you guys have on your mind. This has been, guys, I'm sorry. If you've been with me here from the start, just to let me know in the comments. I feel like this has been some freaking gold. We're dropping some nuggets here. Can I buy a new home before selling my new one? Yeah, you can definitely buy a new home before selling your new one. There are a couple disadvantages to that, but the big advantage of that is that you can make a very compelling competitive offer if you're not contingent upon selling your home. But if you have to sell your home before you buy this one, your offer to the seller is going to be much less competitive. And so the advantage there is that you can write a competitive offer, right? Let's go. Who wouldn't want to write a competitive offer, especially if you love the house? Here's the disadvantages. One, not everyone can qualify for it. You have to qualify for 2 homes at once. A lot of times they come with extra fees that you might not want to pay. And so with that, you just need to kind of weigh the pros and cons. And ultimately, you got to first see if you can qualify for both. And then there's 3 main ways to do this. If you can qualify for both homes at once, you either have the cash that you can put down on the new one without having to pull from your current home. If you're not in that boat, we'll eliminate it. The 2 most popular ones are you could do a bridge loan. And that's essentially the bank's going to say, hey, I'm going to allow you to reach in to your current house and grab all the cash and put it down on the next one. And we're going to give you a loan to do that, right? We're going to loan you that equity. And then when you buy the new home, you're going to need to sell this home because that payment's due, the money we lent you, in like 6 months. Okay. Guys, I'm not a lender. Go with a lender that'll explain it better than I can, but that's a gist of how a bridge loan works. And so they'll allow you to kind of pull out of your equity and put it on the next one. And that's a bridge loan. Next option is there's actually like buy before you sell programs, kind of like a bridge loan, but not actually. They aren't doing it an actual loan. They're just a company with a lot of access to capital. And they say, hey, we're going to front the cash in a way. And then you have to sell your home within like 2 to 3 months. If you don't sell your home, then, we have an offer and we're just going to buy it at that offer. And then we're going to sell it. If we sell above that offer, we'll give you that cash. But like, yeah, guys, as you can see, there's a lot of like nuance and gray area that we can get into here. So, but there's options where, yes, you can buy a new home before you sell yours and have the ability to access the equity of your current home to purchase the new one. All right, guys. Whew, we've been rocking. We've got 10 more minutes. Any questions? Any questions? Nothing? We'll keep on rocking, guys. I got a couple more questions to round us out, but if you have questions, please throw them in the comments. Otherwise, I got some more for you. Ready? Can I buy a new home before I sell? How does a lease back or a rent back work if I sell first? Okay. Here's for those who's in the camp of like, I'm not buying before I sell, but like maybe I sell before I buy. However, I don't really want to sell and have nowhere to go because I don't have anywhere to go. And I'm terrified that if I sell my home, then I'm going to be homeless and not find a new one. Guys, I deal with this all the time. I would say I'm like, a part of my specialty is helping sellers sell and then buy new homes. Here's what you do. You sell your home and we negotiate a rent back or a lease back on your house. And how that works is we get a buyer and that buyer comes and says, hey, we're going to offer on your house. Here's the money. Here's what we're going to offer. And we say, excellent. We also need a rent back 30 days, 60 days, 14 days. Can you grant that? And they're like, yep, sure. We'll give you 30 days to stay in the home after you sell it. And here are our terms. Most of the time, there's a security deposit, and a lot of times there's rent. But believe me, I've negotiated before where there's no rent, and you're able to stay in your house after you close for 30 days rent free. Depends on the situation, the buyer, etc. But that's how it works. And there's this little, it's called a post-closing occupancy agreement that most of us realtors use here in Colorado. And it's a short-term lease, essentially. It just outlines all the rules of what you have to abide by as a renter in the house that you just sold for the 30 days. And that's how it works. Guys, it's actually quite simple. And a lot of people use that in today's market in order to sell their home and have time to either move out or time to complete the purchase of their new home. And so we do these all of the time. So any questions on that, hit me up. What if we move and the market drops? How do we protect ourselves? This is a big question. I don't like answering these, right? I don't like the responsibility of this. Let's go. What if we move and the market drops? How do we protect ourselves? All right. So if you move, you buy a new house and the market drops and you're like, oh shit. What are we going to do? Here's the cool thing. The market dropping doesn't really mean a whole lot for you so long as you can stay in your house and you can afford the monthly payment. Okay? Because at that point, you just wait. That's how you protect yourself. You don't sell. You hold on to the house, keep making the monthly payments. And when you go to sell in 10 years, the market's likely going to go up. Okay? So that's how you protect yourselves. And it goes back to like the very beginning of this video. Should I buy now or sell now or wait? My rule of thumb, my green light is, can you find the right house at a doable monthly payment and you're going to stay there for a long time? Okay. I don't know why that just made a gun. That's The reason I say that's the green light for you to move forward is because if the market drops, you're protected. First off, you love your house. The monthly payment's doable, and it's a house that you see yourself living in for long term. So that way you can outwait the market and wait for it to come back up. And again, a doable monthly payment, like that's if the monthly payment, guys, is stretching you way too thin, right? You have no reserves into the account. And you don't, another one might be job stability. Like if you're really stable in your job or ability to get a new one, then awesome. That's a green light. But if you feel very unstable in your job, like very unstable, even if the house is something you love, it's a doable monthly payment and you see yourself there for a long time, like that's how you protect yourself. Go get a stable job or be stable in your knowing that you would be able to get a stable job, or a job. That makes sense, so that you can make your payment. So that's how you protect yourself, guys. The reality is that like the market dropping or going up doesn't actually matter unless you sell, right? Like the price of your home today, like it's actually fake. It's not real unless you sell it. Does that make sense? So like for instance, if you're buying stocks, that stock goes up $100 and your stocks, total investment's worth $50,000. It's actually not unless you sell it. Does that make sense? Because if you don't sell it, then it could drop to 40 tomorrow. It could drop to 10K tomorrow. It could go up to 100K tomorrow. But that price doesn't actually mean anything until it's executed upon. Does that make sense? So that's how you protect yourself. And guys, last but not least, I got one more question here. Then we're going to round this sucker out. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Really, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. These lives actually take quite a bit of energy and effort, and especially, setting them up, etc. So much love to you guys. Any questions, please drop them down below. Otherwise, last question, what are my actual options if I want to move, but don't know where to start? Oh, shit. I didn't plan this, guys. I plan it in terms of like, I didn't realize this was going to be the last question. What a banger. What a banger to end the live on. All right, let me get a drink. We're going to round this out. And then we'll see you guys on the next one, baby. All right, what are my actual options if I want to move, but don't know where to start? I hate to make a plug to myself, but like my number's down below. Like the reality is, guys, whether it's me or somebody else, get a trusted, very high level real estate professional on the phone, on the text, on the emails, and or a very high level professional that is a lender. Reach out to one of those two. We're going to do the rest. We got you. Okay. Listen, when you go into Home Depot, everyone knows this about Home Depot. Like the chances of you getting stopped, hey, can I help you today? Fairly high. Maybe less in today's age, but Home Depot is always notorious for, hey, do you need help? A lot of times, like you don't want anyone bothering you. Like, no, I don't need help. I'll find it. But there's other times where you're like, yes, I need this thing and I want to get out of here and I want to find it and I don't want to spend 30 minutes in the store. And they're like, bet, got you. Okay, follow me. Right? That's what a high-level professional realtor or lender is going to do, is like, what are my actual options if I want to move but don't know where to start? Cool. Excellent. I'm going to take you through a process of defining what you want. And in that way, we're going to get clear on where you want to be. We're going to get clear on where you're at. And I'm going to build a bridge to get you there. And that bridge is going to entail all the next steps, the process that is going to be smooth for you. And we're also going to build jumps over the hurdles that you might run into, right? So you might call me and say, I want to move. Like, here's where I want to be. And I'm like, great. Here's where I'm at. What do I do? And I'm like, cool. Well, here's how we're going to do it. And this is what to think about. And this is what next steps to take, et cetera. And hey, what about this? Oh, okay. So you're in that situation. So we might have a hurdle here. Here's how we're going to jump over. Oh, we've got an obstacle. Oh, you got a lease that that you might have a penalty on. Cool. Got you. We might be able to get that paid for in one way or another. oh yeah, you got a $750,000, $800,000 house to sell before buying the new one. Yep. So here's the different programs. Sorry, a little tangent there, but you see what I'm saying? Like, the number one thing you can do if you actually want to move but don't know where to start is reach out. And guys, this is the last thing I'll say. Please let this land. If you are worried about feeling obligated or being made to feel obligated or guilted or pressured, like, fucking find somebody else. Guys, if you called me and we had this conversation, I'm not the guy that's going to be calling you every week now or every day. And you're like, fuck, I excuse me, the French. I wish I wouldn't have reached out to Patrick. The dude won't stop calling me. All I wanted to know is, like, what is the market doing? Because I need to know if I should sell now. Like, get somebody that's high level, that's not going to make you feel pressured and not going to be bugging you every single day because you told them, hey, I want to sell and buy. And now they're like rushing. Like, believe me, I love having these conversations. Guys, I'm working with a client today. We've been talking for like 3 years, right? And in those 3 years, very tasteful checkups with him. It's not something we like every week. I'm like, hey, are you ready? Are you ready? No, like, the reason we're together 3 years later is because I didn't pressure and didn't obligate. I love having these conversations. And a lot of times it's informational. A lot of times it's having these conversations today for a move that might be in 6 months and 12 months in 24 months. For some, it's like, oh, I didn't realize I could do this now. Let's do it. So by all means, what are my actual options if I want to move but don't know where to start? Reach out to a realtor, reach out to a lender. Guys, Google is amazing. AI is amazing. You have so many good resources at your fingertips. Get rid of all of them when it comes to one of the biggest purchases of your life, and call a realtor, call a lender. And if you don't have one, you can see my number. I don't know, my fingers are following it, but you can see it. Yep, there it goes. But here it comes again. Guys, thank you so much for joining. Seriously, I have a blast doing these. One day soon, we're going to have hundreds of people on these, and the comments are going to be so much that I can't even keep up with the questions. So please be sure to subscribe to the channel, especially those of you who are thinking about making a move, but like, not now, maybe in a year, maybe in 6 months, maybe in 24 months, and you're just kind of gathering some information. You're going to want to find my channel when the time comes where you're going to buy and sell. For those of you on Facebook, go to my YouTube. Just type in Patrick Loriani or All Colorado Real Estate. The YouTube is where it's at. Guys, we do a Denver real estate market update every single Wednesday. And guys, I don't mean like Denver. I mean the greater Denver metro area, okay? Brighton, Highlands Ranch, Littleton, Wheat Ridge, Arvada, Brewville, Westminster, Thornton, Aurora, Denver itself, Central Park. We're covering it all. We're covering the general greater Denver metro market. And we give some of the best insights that I think you can find anywhere as a consumer, meaning all of you guys, screw the headlines. Guys, they're only telling you a little bit. They're building articles so you click. I'm telling you the truth, like the ground level truth of what's happening in today's market in a way that, first off, you can understand, and second off, you could do something about it, right? Like, I could sit here and give you charts and read the market all day long, but if I don't follow it up with like, hey guys, here's the days on market, and here's what that means for you as a buyer, and here's how you take advantage of it as a seller, and here's the expectation you should have if you list your home today. You see what I'm saying? So we go through really, really good information. So if you're here, go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, and do me a big favor, guys. I can't tell you how much it supports the channel when you like, comment, share the video. So if you found some value into this, if you know somebody who needs this information, please, all I ask is if you could share it with them, or give me a like or comment, subscribe. And again, thank you so much for being here today. I super appreciate you guys. This is fun. I really, really enjoy this and can't wait to keep growing this. Any other questions, guys? Anything? If not, I'm going to run. It's 8 o'clock and I got some work to do. Believe it or not, we got some work that we got to do. So with that, guys, again, freaking awesome. I love you. Appreciate you joining. And we're going to catch you on the next one. I'm going to give you 5 more seconds to leave a comment, a question. I'll stay here all night. Cool. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your week. If you're catching this on the replay, throw in a comment. I'll get back to you.